Hey there, chefs! Welcome to today's episode of Sully's Kitchen. Today, we have a special guest joining us. Please welcome my wife, Sully 2.
Hi, everybody.
What are we making today?
Well, okay, so you know that you're more of the chef in this household, obviously. But this is something that you've helped me make before, and I think it's very simple and versatile, and something that everybody should be able to make.
Awesome.
So,
well,
apron up.
Let's get these aprons on. Let's get some jars open. I'm so ready to open some jars.
You know, I actually picked something that doesn't have any jars this time.
Welcome to Sully's Kitchen, where the food is sometimes good. Starring Sully.
Today, we're going to show you how to make a nice and simple pesto. You like pesto?
I do like pesto. Alright.
Okay, how about you tell us the components of what typically make up a pesto?
Sure. Alright, let's start here with your flavor leaves. We're using arugula today. It gives it a nice peppery sort of taste. You can also use spinach, kale. Most people use basil. That's a really common pesto. That's a little bit sweeter.
Have you ever used kale in a pesto?
Real chefs try their ingredients before using them.
A real chef tries their ingredients. Baby arugula. No, it'll be good.
It's very bitter. It's very peppery. It'll be good in the pesto though.
And what's next?
Next, we have walnuts. You want some sort of nutty, earthy flavor, and a lot of people use pine nuts for that. The only problem being, pine nuts are very expensive. It's like $10 an ounce, probably.
Probably.
Give
a little taste test here. Up to par?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, okay.
I'd say. It's a good nut.
Okay, so we've got our leaves, we've got our nuts, and now how are we gonna blend this all up together?
We need a little bit of liquid, so we're going to use some light olive oil. You want this to not have too much flavor as to not overpower the rest of your ingredients.
Okay, then what's after that?
After that, we're going to...
What?
What is that?
You have to taste it. Didn't you say that?
Real chefs try their ingredients.
So, should we not include it then with that?
It's good. It's really light.
Yeah? It's not overwhelming?
It's kind of like chapstick.
Yeah.
That's gross. I'm like all lubricated.
I feel like we need some acidity here.
It's true. We do need a little bit of lemon juice in there. That'll add our acidity and a little bit of brightness. It will actually pair really well with the arugula, that peppery.
Say ah. How does that go with the arugula? Do you want a piece?
No.
So we have everything we need to make a pesto sauce. We have our oil, our acid, nuts, and our leaves. But now we need to add a little bit more flavor.
Yeah, we want a little more spice. To do this, we got some garlic cloves you can throw in there. This is gonna add the kick to your pesto that you want. I just got 2 cloves. I think that's appropriate.
I mean, you could also use like 3 or 4 if you actually enjoy flavor.
You're crazy. What are you doing?
You gotta taste it.
I mean, it's good.
A real chef tastes his ingredients. You're so red. Are you crying? Mm-hmm. Have some of the pesto.
I swallowed it!
You're supposed to. I think we have one more ingredient to add, and I think you'll like this one.
Cheese.
We got here some grated Parmesan cheese.
So the cheese, I don't recommend blending this with everything else. The cheese adds some essential saltiness to the pesto. You can use salt instead, but I like to just mix this in with a spoon after your pesto's blended because it's a really nice texture. Sure. You gotta throw it in my face?
Put your head up a little more. There you go.
Now we have everything.
Time to get mixing.
Let's get mixing. Now we can start actually assembling the pesto. You're gonna want a blender or a food processor for this. For the arugula, again, we want maybe about 2 cups. This will, in the end, yield probably a cup of pesto.
Yeah, we're gonna have to shove a lot of this in there.
Yeah, you don't have to fully pack it down. You can start with this and keep adding arugula while you're making it.
I think that's good for now.
Yeah, that's
It's a little full.
It's a little full. Maybe take a little out. Okay, that's fine. For nuts, half handful.
And are we gonna keep adding more nuts, or is that sufficient?
We'll see. We'll see how we feel. That should be sufficient, about a half cup of nuts.
Okay, add a little lemon
Just
juice.
oh yeah, just a little spritzy.
Gonna throw these garlic cloves in here.
Perfect. Olive oil. And the thing with the olive oil is you don't want too much here. We can add some later with the arugula, but I think we're ready to blend this up. We blended our pesto a little bit, maybe 15 seconds or so. It's a little bit gritty. You can probably tell it's not really a pesto sauce yet. What you'll want to do is, you can give it a little taste now. See how the flavors work together? It shouldn't quite taste right at this point. And that's because we don't we don't have our salty component added. We're going to add a little bit more arugula. If your pesto is a little crazy, if the flavor's a little too much, you'll want to add a couple tablespoons of water. If it's just fine and you need a little bit more liquid for blending, you can add some more of that olive oil.
Yeah, I think we need a little more olive oil for this guy.
I think so too. It's not too crazy. And keep in mind, when this is finished and it sets in the fridge, the flavor will develop.
Especially the garlic.
It'll get very garlicky.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and blend this up again. We blended it up some more, put quite a bit more olive oil in it, added some more arugula, blended it again, and then scraped down the sides, and then blended it up some more to get this nice, very, I don't know, what'd you call that?
Fluorescent green.
Fluorescent green, I mean, sure. I was
It's
just
poppin'.
gonna say like a smoother texture.
Oh yeah, the texture.
The texture was what I was going for, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's very smooth now. What we can do, we're going to spoon this out into a container. Now we're going to add our Parmesan, grated Parmesan. You can use shredded Parmesan if you want. It's going to have a little bit more texture. It might be a little weird.
If you do that, you might want to actually put it in the food processor with the pesto.
That's true. It's a good call.
Sully Pro Tip.
Sully Pro Tip. Okay, we mix this in. It's looking pretty good. It has some good texture. Let me see if I can do a nice close up here. Get that to focus. It's a little, I don't want to say gritty because that's not appealing, but it has some nice Parmesan texture in there.
I think I need to try it again.
Oh yeah, it's time to try it again.
That definitely helped.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing how like the salt at the end just really kind of cinches it all together.
I think we do need a little bit more cheese though.
If you say so. Never say no to that.
We mixed it up a little bit more. Now, let's do our final taste test.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
That was a mess.
Sorry.
That's really nice.
That's really good, and it's like the fact that the arugula is so strong and peppery is like God. I mean, you still have the flavor, but it's not like choking you now.
It's true, and the garlic is kind of blended into there as well. All the flavors, they're all strong flavors, but
But they come together really
they
well.
come together exactly like us.
Wow.
That's it. We're done with our pesto. It is super easy to do. You don't need to heat anything up or
No
roast
cooking,
anything.
no
No cooking.
oven.
Exactly. This will keep in your fridge in an airtight container for a couple weeks. You can also, another Sully Pro Tip, you're getting 2 in the video. You can put this
2 Sullys.
2 Sullys. We each
Two
get our
Sully
pro tip.
tips.
You can put this into an ice cube tray, and you can freeze these into little pesto pellets, and when you're making pasta, you can just drop one of these in there. It's gonna be an awesome sauce ready to go. This is great to use in pasta, on pizza, like pizza crust.
Yep.
You could also probably top this on bruschetta. That would be really good. Or you can thin it out a little and use it to dress a plate of caprese or something.
Yeah, maybe even eating it just with like crackers before too.
Yeah, that's totally good.
Yeah.
Now, if you want an easy to make, inexpensive pesto, we recommend trying this recipe out. It's just super easy. You can make it in 5 minutes. It's
good. And just by itself, it's good.
By itself, it's good. Just eat it with a spoon.
I might not recommend it.
Sit
but
down,
it's good.
get a big ladle,
Yeah,
go to
get
town.
like an ice cream tub. Oh, like that was too far.
Yeah, you went too far with that one. Hey, thanks for stopping by Sully's Kitchen.